Subhuman transform, consumption dilutes storms forms. Arch type, nice to find arch thoughts like sports. Throats, lies beneath moats, mental states, floats away. Subhuman transform, consumption dilutes storms forms. Arch type, nice to find arch thoughts like sports. Throats, lies beneath moats, mental states, floats away.
Introverted walking soldier under solar iron grades, valley depth pasta branded like a galactic nomadic, crossing haze with penetrating quotations from the letter of Paul to Galatians. Execute tune stations, vocal dunes from a gloom tune to the Hebrew doctrine he looms. Serums raised tangible solid metals like tentacles wound to the North Star. This room, radar, scars room, beat drums, squadron war, biblical strategists, remnant anthems. There's orbit schematics, uncharted terrain, celestials, airborne death from above platoon reach from water to land like typhoons. Spitting fire, dry guns, crossing regions like Vikings, inviting high times, and then some rebel tongues, front daggers behind, hitting contractions, hitting contractions, hitting contractions.
Subhuman transform, consumption dilutes storms forms. Arch type, nice to find arch thoughts like sports. Throats, lies beneath moats, mental states, floats away. Subhuman transform, consumption dilutes storms forms. Arch type, nice to find arch thoughts like sports.